Merry Christmas and good wet day to you. Look at that nastiness. Ugh. So Kit got some new presents for Christmas, and today we're going to be installing the Custom Dynamics Pro Beam low profile blinkers. And as an added bonus, vent screens for beside the headlights. So stay tuned. Let's do this. Okay, so to begin with, I'm going to have to take off the screws for my windshield, the bolts on my Hogworks blinkers. They are beautiful. They gotta go. I've got to take those little stars out, and I've got to get up under the speaker lids here. Those will be coming off, and take the bolt out there too. So that's just an overview of what we're going to do, what we're going to take off, and then we'll walk through the process and we'll show you what Kit ends up looking like when we're done. I like to have everything laid out. I have to have a T25 and a T27. I'm gonna have to have a star, what size was that? T30, it's a T30. And then just a normal Phillips head. So got a couple things laid out in case I need some extra stuff. And I'll show you what all we're gonna take apart, and then we'll get down to it. Okay, so we're gonna remove the windshield first. Like I said, that's just a normal Phillips head. We're gonna remove the other blinkers that I had on there. All right, so these deflectors also have to come off. That's the next thing I'll do, and then we'll be working on the speakers. So I'm going to pop these speaker lids off. I like to use a little bit of a rag just to protect, and I'm just using this little pick to get up underneath there and grab them. Pretty easy. The secondary windshield also comes off, just pops right up. Not too hard at all. So in prepping my fairing also, I'm gonna go ahead and clean where the bolts were. As you can see, it gets a little dusty, and I don't like the dirt. I hate the dirt. So we'll get that cleaned up. I got my husband in here helping me today. Look at him, that big sexy man. That's the big bearded breed, and go check out his site too. He's got a great channel where he discusses all things bikes and how he researches things. He's amazing. I'm a big fan. So we'll get this cleaned up, and then I'll start showing you how we are going to get these lights set up. All right, so you're gonna notice that there's these tabs in here that holds the other lighting that was with the original blinkers here. So now we have to take these out. This is all trash. You can just throw it away. We're going to be putting new stuff in there. We're going to take all those off. Most of them already kind of come off by themselves. They're pretty ready to go. Kind of dry rotted. And then we have a 7/16 Allen. We're going to be removing the bolt that holds the blinker in place. So now we have the first light gone. And again, I'm gonna clean because I hate dirt. It never hurts to do a little extra cleaning while you've got your stuff apart. It's nice to be able to put your hands on it because if there was a crack or if there's a chip or anything wrong, then you can either fix it or replace it at that time, but plus just keeps the dirt down. We have these little sticky tabs. You can get them anywhere. And normally you'd feed wires, I don't know if you can see that, you'd feed the wires through that little port there. What we did was we cut off the two corners, so we'll just be able to slide our wire up underneath it since it has the big connector on the end. We wouldn't be able to push it through, so that I think will be a good little tip. I'm gonna go ahead and place these as close to where the other tape was so that I pretty well ensure that I'm not rubbing anything on the inside fairing. So as you can see, I'm just following up the same line of where the tabs were. And I'll repeat on this side. Alright, so tabs are in place. Inside of the fairing is clean-ish. And I'm going to show you guys, Custom Dynamics, you know, they do outstanding stuff. I've always liked my Hogworks, but they didn't carry this particular type of light. And I'm really pleased with the quality. They even, they throw in these converters that you will want to use. And, you know, I was watching another video, and the guy was able to get his lights to work without using these. However, the lights don't work properly. It's going to, when you have your blinker on, it's going to flash not only amber, but then back to white. And you just want the amber so it's brighter and more crisp. So we will use those as well. They include Loctite for you and your new black screws. They are after my heart, being black, so I don't have to paint these. Every good mechanic reads the directions, right? Okay, so you see how it has this little gasket? You always want to make sure that that's going to be fitting nice and smooth and flush up against your fairing once you put it on. But everything is just beautiful quality. Look at that. Oh, it's going to be pretty. So they include their own screws. These are going to be next to nothing on the outside. You won't see them. So again, you have your big Allens, and they're black even on the inside. So we're going to feed the wire back through. Okay, so we got the left side in. We're going to repeat all the same things on the right. So we'll throw a little bit of Loctite on this. I tell you, the one thing that's a little tricky on these is keeping the gasket really even. So I'm holding it with my right hand. A little dab will do you on the blue. Alright, so again, just making sure that the gasket is really clean, neat, and it is. So we are golden. So I'm going to go ahead and run the wire up into the clips. Alright, so we'll save our other two little bolts for once we got the fairing back on. Get this stuff put back. Always keep your work area neat. Alright, so the other wires were zip tied on to the fairing, so we're just going to finish these off with some zip ties. So while we have the fairing off, we are going to put the screens in here. And I think that this design, there's this little ridge, I don't know if you can see, there's this little ridge here. I think these just fit in, so we're gonna find out. There's no directions with them. We got these off Amazon. They look great, but if you buy the ones that come with these parenthesis lights, you know, they have the outline that seats right in here, and these don't. So you might have to bear with us on this. Let's see what happens. Okay, so with these screens, you do have to mold them just a little bit. I had to bend the top part up just a little bit, because if you're putting these on, you'll see that there's a curve and then it comes down. But once you have everything on, they seem to mold pretty well. Rinse and repeat on the other side. See, I'm just pushing this up just a little bit. It seems to help it seat in there just a little bit better. Yeah. We're getting close. So very simple plug-in. This has the same end piece as the original. Put that in, pop it in, you're ready to go. And again on the other side. Very good. As you can see, these are my DB drive speakers. I talked about those on my modifications video. There's a good look at them while you can. Got the one screw put back on each side, and now we're going to put these back on, the deflectors, and then the two windshields. So back on with the side deflectors here. So deflectors are on. Now we'll go ahead and put the windshield back on. Then I'll go ahead and put the finishing screws into the turn lights, turn indicators. What's wrong with my mouth? I can't talk. And then I'll show you guys what it looks like from the front, okay? All right, so we got our connectors up here. Snapping. That's one light that should work. We'll also have to tuck all these wires in, so we'll get that put away. This poor bike has so many wires underneath it with all the amplifiers and speakers, but there's plenty of room to get this converter in here. So I'm going to zip tie these wires and just make them a little neater. Try to keep it not from being such a mess.
You forgot to get your helper.
So we have the wires zip tied down, so they're just lying nice and flush. Nothing sticking against the speaker down in there. Nothing tangled up. Very easy access. Pretty neat. So on with the first windshield. First one on. There's another windshield that I want, so stay tuned for that video if I ever get that mod soon. So James is snapping my speaker grills back in for me. And the only thing we have left to do is put in the bolts on the blinkers, and we're done. So you can see these bolts, they give, again, beautiful painted black. I don't even have to do it myself. I love it. Very thrilled about that. All right, so now you get to see what the final result is. Guys, I'm really happy with this. I'm thrilled, and I think you will be too. Very pleased with these. They really look good, and they are low profile. He's so black you can't see him. Love it. The vents turned out. Quite happy there. And there's the blinker. So again, nice and clean, very bright. Oh yeah. Beanie approved. What do you think? All good? You like it? A couple little issues there. If you're gonna put these on, I definitely am going to say the gaskets on the lights themselves are a little bit of a pain in the butt because they're very wobbly. They're not very thick. You know, some gaskets are a little more solid and kind of just sit in there. So the first light that I did, we had to really kind of work on it to get that gasket to stay seated correctly. The second one went a little bit better. Have your sticky tabs so that you can run your wires up the inside of your fairing. And overall, be prepared to love the way your bike's gonna look. I know I'm loving mine. So, thank you guys for tuning in today. I hope that helped. I hope that was enjoyable. If you're considering doing these, definitely look up Custom Dynamics. They're outstanding. So on that note, I will say, be fair, take a breath, but don't take any shit.